Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. So many things that I wanna say. You know I like my girls a little bit older.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Valley of the Ice. I'm Steven Ontiveros here alongside Steve Van Durme, and today we're going to be talking about Arizona State University hockey. Now, Steve, ASU's coming off their first NCAA Division I season as a hockey program. They went 5-22-2. Obviously not the record you're looking for, but not too bad considering that it's their first season in Division I. What did you see from this team that you liked this season?
Right, and obviously it is their first season in Division I, so there's going to be some growing pains here and there. But you know what? They did have it in them to go and get some wins over some D1 teams, beating teams like Alaska Fairbanks. They beat Lake Superior State as well. Those are two solid hockey programs up north. And really, just the fact that this team has so much potential for the future, recruiting's going to be easy for Arizona State because all these hockey players from Minnesota, from Canada, are all going to want to come down to the warm weather and play hockey. Recruiting's not going to be hard, and they're just going to get better. They've already got some solid commits for next year, and honestly, the record's just going to keep getting better. And they're going to join a conference also soon, looking at possibly joining, I heard possibly the Big Ten.
That's what hockey. I've been hearing too.
Yeah, so that would definitely be an interesting proposition if that were to happen for ASU. But we'll have to see how that plays out.
Well, you mentioned recruiting, and it's definitely an advantage that ASU has when it comes to recruiting against other teams, considering the warm weather. And you've already seen that happening. They have multiple guys coming down from Canada. Their best player, Jordan Masters, is from Rochester, New York. So you already see that in action. And do you think that they'll pick up some big-name recruits here in the next year or two?
Yes, I honestly do believe that they will. Definitely, I know they've got a couple commits next year. They've got some guys from Wisconsin. They've got some guys coming down from Russia even to come play for ASU next year. So really, there's really no corner of the globe that ASU's not going to be able to reach. I mean, it's a world-known university, so there should be no issue for ASU trying to recruit good hockey players to try and make this a competitive program.
Now, when people mention ASU hockey, a lot of the criticism goes towards where they currently play. They currently play at Oceanside Ice Arena, which is not the best place for a D1 hockey team. They have youth leagues play there. They have adult rec leagues play there, but it's not really the best place to house a D1 team. What do you think? How do you think that'll be solved going forward?
Right, and it is something that needs to be solved. In fact, this year when ASU was playing games against teams like UConn and Southern New Hampshire at Oceanside Arena, fans were getting turned away at the door because there was no room left in Oceanside Arena for the rest of the fans. And I know for a fact Greg Powers told Cronkite News about how disappointed he was in the fact that people got turned away at the door to come see the games because, you're trying to build a program here, and how are you going to do that if people are not being let in to see this program grow and play games? So really, this is an issue that needs to be solved very quickly. There are a lot of options ASU has for this new arena. You can move into Gila River with the Coyotes if that situation gets solved.
And the Sun Devils did play some games at Gila River last season.
Yeah, but the issue with that I see is that how are you going to get attendance? How are you going to fill that arena if you put ASU in Gila River? Because if you're going to do that, you've got to have some sort of transportation from campus or something like that, because otherwise you're not going to have student attendance all the way out in Glendale.
Right.
That's why a big option that's been discussed in recent months is ASU and the Coyotes possibly partnering up and building a new arena close to campus in Tempe, Arizona. And that, I think, would be a win-win for both sides, considering the Coyotes fan base is more located in East Valley, as we talked about last podcast.
Right.
For ASU, if you're closer to campus, you've got your alumni base, you've got your fan base in Tempe, Mesa, you've got your students. You can easily fill up an arena, I think, if you're the Sun Devils, honestly.
Well, looking forward to the future, you mentioned Greg Powers. He was a little disappointed with the turnout this year, just considering that there aren't a lot of room for fans in Oceanside Arena. Do you think that people will turn out in the next couple of years here?
I do think so. I think as long as this team keeps showing signs of improving, keeps showing signs of competitiveness, and being able to grow as a program, fans are going to keep showing up to games. Obviously, I read this Players Tribune article by Greg Powers a few days ago that came out talking about the growth of this program. He talks about when he was playing for the team back in 1995 and how they'd always get blown out by U of A. Their goal when playing them was to not get Whataburgered, which meant not allowing 10 goals in a game.
Oh, that's awful.
And now, coming now to 2016, now ASU is the one blowing out Arizona every year in hockey. And it's definitely good to see this program really starting to take off with all the donations they've gotten. Because I know in that article Greg Powers talked about, even the idea of going D1 was kind of insane to them because they knew they were going to need multiple millions of dollars for that to happen. And then the donations just poured in, and all of a sudden you've got enough money to make this a D1 program, and you do it.
Well, you did mention about ASU making the jump possibly to the Big Ten Conference for hockey, and you've seen the Big Ten grow. Just this past year, Notre Dame jumped to the Big Ten, and they've had a lot of success as a conference. Do you think that the Sun Devils will be able to hold up against some top-level teams?
Definitely I think the first couple of years or so, there might be some growing pains, obviously, as there was this year. But if you're joining a big-time hockey conference with programs like Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, for example, you're going to have some challenges, obviously. But there are signs that ASU could be competitive in future years. Obviously, you have a program like Penn State, which was just initiated into Division I a few years ago. They're currently playing in the Big Ten and doing okay for themselves. But I definitely think ASU, geographically, that would be an interesting fit.
It'd be a bit of an issue there.
Yeah, because obviously for away games, you're traveling. Those are 3-hour flights to every road game, basically. It's about a 3.5-hour flight from here to Chicago. So from here to Minneapolis, about the same. Here to Wisconsin, about the same. So really, the travel would be a little bit hard for the team, I think. But overall, as far as talent-wise, I think by the time 2020 rolls around, I think this team could be competitive in a conference like the Big Ten if they keep recruiting at the rate that they are capable of and keep growing as a program under Greg Powers.
Well, they've certainly made some strides in the past year, and I think that we're definitely going to see some more improvements as time goes on. So we want to thank you again for listening to another episode of Valley of the Ice. I'm Steven Ontiveros, and he's Steve Van Durme. We'll see you next time.